Review all the trades from last week, the exact trades that made me $10,000 in a day, the trade that made me $5,000. It was a great week. Great workout. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And I drink coffee. I got a lot of energy right now. This cars. She will be going too slow. Gotta let big dog through. I'm gonna give you guys specific clips into understanding as above, so below when it comes to lower and higher time frame trading. Then trading is you versus you. If you build yourself in the gym, you're gonna be helping your trading. If you build yourself as a person, you're gonna be helping your trading. And good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today it is Saturday morning. Right now I'm going to be getting ready to have my weekend call. If you guys didn't know, most of you already know, I have weekend calls every single weekend. Saturday and Sunday we have backtesting sessions and educational calls with the team every single week, along with the live trading Monday through Friday. Neither here nor there. If you want to be able to be a part of that team, you can apply in the first link in the description, but that's what we're about to do. We're about to have our backtesting session. So I'm gonna give you guys a little sneak peek of what it's like so I can give you some of the game, just review all the trades from last week, the exact trades that made me $10,000 in a day, the trade that made me $5,000. It was a great week, great week. So we're gonna review all the trades, exactly how you coulda did what I did, how you can do it again, and how to be able to replicate it, because it all happens for a reason, because it's not by accident. That's the main thing you gotta understand with trading. It is not by accident. The market is 100% manipulated, and the same things happen over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So with that being said, let's go over the things that are gonna keep going over and over and over, and I've been going over and over and over about. So let's hop straight into it.
But yeah, now we're just gonna back test. So for the people that are new here, you know the same shit we do every single time. I'll just write it out just in case for the sake of it. Same time we do previous is high, we're going to be marking up previous is lows. We're going to be looking for the Asian range, which is already marked up for us, just make things a little bit easier. And then lastly, we look for them higher time frame for value gaps. This is just a little 3-step process I do every single day, every backtesting session. I do this every time I go up to the charts in the morning. It's just this 3-step system. So if we're going to be backtesting Monday, we're going to be doing this from the previous day, which will then be Friday. So we're going to mark up the previous day's high from Friday and the previous day's low. You can see that we ended up running the previous day's high. Now the next thing I said is going to be Asian session range. Now on Sundays with the indicator, sometimes it gets a little bit fucked up, so I'll just draw it right here. But you can see the Asian session range is just these dark boxes everywhere else from 18 o'clock to midnight. So you got 1 done, 2 is done. Now 3 is higher time frame for value gaps. Now when I'm back testing, I try not to go too higher time frame, just because for the sake of back testing and just making it more efficient, it doesn't make sense for me to always be going back and forth. But I will say, when you're on the hour time frame, that is one of the main things you would like to pay attention to when back testing. So for our time to trade right here, it looks like this gap on Monday got held right here. Now there's gaps everywhere, but the main thing you guys got to understand is where are going to be the gaps during our time to trade. When is our time to trade? If we're trading the index is US 30 NAS 100, you should be trading the New York session. That's going to be the primary session. So let me just kind of annotate where the ideal trade of the day would have been, what you should have probably taken, and why you would have taken it. So overall, we said it was a bullish week. If we also look at Friday, I wouldn't even say Friday was a bullish day. Friday was a very choppy day, because from where it opened and closed, it opened and closed around the same area. The day before that was bearish and then kind of retraced a little bit. But overall, I wouldn't even say going into Monday that we were extremely even bullish. We were bearish up until this point into Monday. So looking for longs, maybe it wouldn't have been the most ideal, but one thing you could have been looking to do is at least target this previous high, because we have these highs marked up for a reason. We have the Asian session marked up for a reason. I'm not marking these things up for no reason. I mark up these highs because they're high probability highs. We're either going to be able to use those highs as targets, or we might be able to use it as possible entries, a stop loss, whatever it may be. We're just expecting price to have reactions from specific areas, such as the Asian range highs and lows, and the previous highs and lows, and such as higher time frame gaps like this 1 hour one here. So when we came to the charts at 9 in the morning, all of this price action already existed. We had the Asian session range, we had a push up, and what did that push up do? The push up left a gap behind. That gap came and got filled into. What gap am I talking about? If you look to the left right here, from the 2 a.m. move, right? I always tell you guys, pay attention to when the gaps get created. I'll get rid of this one for now. But this gap got left behind from what? 3 o'clock pushed and left the gap. I always tell you guys, what do I like to look for? Consolidation, price around the old higher low, push, leave a gap behind, just like that. Sometimes it might not even run a higher low, it might just push and leave a gap behind. But the main thing is price always has gaps that get left behind, and there's always highs and lows that get ran. So you can either try to get the more risk your entry, which is probably going to give you a better risk reward, or possibly wait for a retracement to try to get into the gap. Now in this case, I didn't trade London, so by the time I came to the charts, 7 o'clock already traded into this low, so 7 o'clock already started pushing. So now in this case, what happened? Price had another gap that left behind. It left another one on the hour time frame somewhere up here. But considering since we already filled in, we ran this low, basically solidifying that we're probably going to go higher. We came into the gap, started going higher. So everything up to this point is showing us that we're likely probably going to try to reach for what? What's the next closest area? We already ran the Eastern Session High. The previous high is just, I have these markups for a reason. Just keep this shit as simple as possible. And then right here, 7 o'clock is when we traded into this first gap from London. We ended up closing bullish at 8 o'clock. From 8 o'clock, we go into 9, right? Now, this is where you would have been able to possibly take advantage of the trade because you weren't awake during this time, or trading at least. You weren't trading during this time either. When it was our time to trade, we had the gap that was up here that got left behind. So even though it already did all this stuff, in our eyes, price only had the one gap that was right here left before everything else was already equally filled in. So in this case, if we're going to keep going bullish, we might fill in this gap and then keep going to reach for this previous high, which is what ideally would have been the most high probable thing. Now let's just say you try to get the safest possible entry off that 1 hour imbalance. You got in as soon as it tapped into it. Let's see if a 50-point stop loss would have been valid. In this case, 50 would have not been valid. You would have had to have a 100-point stop loss. The 100-point would have got close, but also that 100-point stop loss would have been able to been below the 80M low. So if you put your stop loss below the 80M low, you would have been good. But if you still would have been looking for a 1 to 2 to this previous high, the previous high would have never got hit, but your 1 to 2 would have got hit. And you guys know it's crazy. I think this is a trade that I had called with you guys because it hit our TP and immediately came back down. And I had told you guys the only reason I had to get out right there was because it was TP2. Because ideally, I would have wanted it to see that previous high. Now you can see in this case how it didn't run that high. What do you think that was doing? All it was really doing was building liquidity. The market came back down, grabbed all these lows to eventually just go up when there was probably some news event or something. But in my opinion, most times, unless I would be betting on the fact that it is going to run that previous high. But that's when being able to take profit based off of what you're risking is going to be very key. Because if I would have been hoping for the high just because of the price action, I would end up getting stop break even on a trade that was a W trade. But let's just annotate exactly what happened with this trade. So at 9 in the morning, more than likely it was at 9:30, we traded into the 1 hour gap. Let's see if I also were to do something like this where I pull a fib from the previous day's low and I draw it to the current high before we started to get that retracement. Let me see what happened. So overall, if we look at that, the London move traded into this fib that kept pushing, so that would be that fib. So if I want to draw a fib from the London low, which will be, I'll draw it from the 12 a.m. low because that's just the low of the day before we did all this, to here, this would also be the 38.20% level. So where did I draw that second fib? I drew the first one from the previous day's low to the high before we got that retracement. And then you can see the 7 a.m. move traded into it. But then I drew the second fib from the London low to technically the London high. And then you can see the 38.20% is also where that 1 hour gap is. So I'm not going to have all these markups on there just so I don't confuse you, but I am going to write it out. So we have the 1 hour gap along now with the fib long. And like I always tell you guys, these aren't any different confirmations than I already use on a daily basis. It's just about understanding where you're going to be drawing them from, things like that. Like whenever I'm drawing a fib, I'm drawing them from previous day's highs and lows. I'm drawing them from session highs and lows. I'm really only drawing them from those. Maybe a weekly high and low, but 99% of the time, I'm just drawing it from previous day's highs and lows, trying to get an idea where the intraday range might retrace to, or I'm drawing it from London session highs and lows, New York session highs and lows to get an idea where the like basically the intra-session retracement might be, such as right here. So we have also, if we want to take it a step further, where do we look? Look right. You can see that we're also at 42,500 big figure level. Ain't that a coincidence? No, it's not a coincidence. Nothing in this trading shit's a coincidence. I'll tell you that now. I'm gonna make this a little bit thicker, just like that. So we're gonna mark up 42,500 big figure level. So we're just gonna add that into here, and that's honestly the main confirmations. You could have tried to have more confirmations, but it wouldn't have been necessary. You don't need to have all the confirmations in the world. You just got to have enough for you to be willing to take the trade and trusting yourself enough. Because the fact that the only thing that would have made this even more trustworthy is if the previous trend of the week was something like this. If it was already bullish, doing something like this, then I probably would have trusted this even more. But it was bearish, so it wasn't too much in the trend. But in terms of the price action, in terms of following the London session trend, in terms of just doing the same shit we do, this would have been a decent trade. Like this is one of those trades where it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, you would have went into drawdown. I remember this is the trade on Monday that I went into hella drawdown, but it didn't stop me out because if you would have had a 100-point stop below the 8 a.m. low, you would have been good. But it's also like up here where if you would have been aiming for the previous high, it would have never got hit. But if you would have been just looking for your 1 to 2, you would have been able to take profit. But then that just comes down to you versus you now, not you versus the system, because most people might have just been waiting for that high. But that's why I go based off of what I'm risking. And just for the people that don't have this already, because I always get questions on this, the fib that I always use for basically showing where my TPs are. So if I draw my fib from my stop loss to my entry, so stop loss and entry like that, and then I put on my risk to reward, you can see where my TPs are, TP1 right here, TP2, TP3 up there. And if you want the settings, it's just these, because I know a lot of people always ask for them. It just makes it easier, so you don't ever got to really, you visually know where your TP is all the time. And no matter how much you're risking, 50 points, 30 points, 100 points, as long as you draw your fib from your stop loss and entry, you'll always get whatever it is based off of the point stop loss that you have. Such as if I have 100 points now, this is 100 points in profit, this is 200 points in profit, this is 300 points. And you could put the TPs even higher if you want even higher risk to reward. But me personally, 1 to 2s and 1 to 3s is all I really need to consistently make some money. But that is going to be Monday. I feel like I went on a little bit. Yeah, 10 minutes on Monday. It's looking like a long morning. But we going to move on to Tuesday now. But we're going to do the same exact thing, the same process. Keep it simple. Like I said, I went a little bit more longer on Monday, but I explained a lot more. But now you should probably be able to understand a lot of this. So after having this bullish move on Monday, price was nowhere near this previous low. So we can obviously see this was a bullish day. Now I want you guys to understand, when it comes to having things such as previous day's highs and lows, right? I need you to look at this like it's a possible candle. Say this is a candle on the daily time frame, right? This is one closed candle. The next day opens right here. Price starts to push up, right? I need you guys to understand that same logic that we use on the 1 hour time frame for price trading into imbalances is the same thing we should be doing on the higher time frame. Understanding that price as above, so below. So when price has a previous day's high like this, when you have a previous day's high like this, because say for example these are, let me put it like this, these are daily candles. So this is a whole day that's going by. When price has a previous high like this, when price pushes above and retraces back into that previous high on the higher time frame, this is essentially what? An imbalance play. This is essentially the trade that we took on Monday off the hour, but see how it's based off a different time frame. But when you go into it lower, what it do? Retrace into the previous high, but and then did what? Kept going back up. It's like the same similar thing. I wanted to explain that to you guys because that's one of the reasons I like to draw things such as these previous highs, and that's also why I like to have them marked up, and that's why I like to have them aware, because based off these higher time frames, say for example this closes like this. This is the same thing. That previous is high from that other candle. Say this candle closed right here. This third candle can still come back down and do what? This is still the same exact thing as a lower time frame type of move. Price could retrace into that before doing what? Possibly going back up, but it's still the same type of thing. It's still the same gap logic, essentially, just off the higher time frame. As above, so below. That's why I always tell you guys, there's no better time frame. It's just all perspective. It's just showing you a different thing. But London, we pushed. The main thing from London that's going to be important is this gap that got left behind right here. This entire London session gap. Because from here, from this move at 1 in the morning, this is what left this big gap behind. This is what left closest to this previous high, because you can see 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning. All of these were before our time to trade. All we had to do was wait till when? Our time to trade, which was at 10 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Now you could have possibly taken advantage of the move to the long side maybe at 9, but based off of how I trade, I would have just been getting in to get in. I might have been able to get the entry off that previous day's high, but in my opinion, if we would have waited till 10, if we would have waited for price at 10 in the morning to trade into, well, it didn't even trade, it filled the 1 hour gap. So let me just also put that. It didn't tap into the gap, it filled it, because there's a difference between when it fills the gap versus when it taps into it. Neither is right or wrong. It's just sometimes if you try to get in as soon as it taps the gap, you might not have a big enough stop loss in case it does fill it, right? Versus sometimes the gap is way smaller and you can actually get in based off the fill. But when you get in based off the fill, you're expecting that price is likely going to go the other way now, because once it fills it in, it's just like this. You would want to see it go the other way. So you filled the 1 hour gap. Let me get rid of this over there. So we filled the 1 hour gap at 10 in the morning. And we also, if I were to do, I know we didn't have a continuation move here. I don't think we had a fib either because it came so low. But I would just say it came to the 1 hour gap and it also retraced. I'll just say the daily gap. But that's basically the previous high. So it retraces the previous high, but I'm not going to say I got in because of the previous high. I got in because this is a daily gap. Just like this, if I were to get rid of boom, 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 I got NB based off of this. It retraced on the daily time frame into this daily high, which is a daily gap, and then kept pushing, which is over here. So now let's see how you actually would have caught the trade, because confirmation wise, you have the time that you're supposed to trade, a daily gap, and the 1 hour gap, and the fact that you're following the overall trend. That is one of the bigger things also. Like the day before on Monday, we weren't following the overall trend, which would have made it a little bit more hard to trust the bias. But this, we were already bullish as fuck. Like at this point, I wasn't expecting a retracement. At this point, I was expecting prices to keep on going higher, because when price is high like this, when the indexes are at such high prices like this, they don't try to give retracements. They don't. They just keep going. That's just what they do. The indexes, they just like flying. They just always have, always will. Let me read this real quick from Dustin. Can you show just a couple examples of London trades? I would say, if there's a good London trade here, but I'm just going over the ideal trade, because just because there might be trade doesn't mean it's the most ideal, because price move all day. But most of, like I was saying, 10 a.m. filled the 1 hour gap and daily gap, and the fact that we're bullish. If you would have got the safest possible entry, in this case would have been waiting for it to fill this gap. It filled the gap at 8 in the morning, but we weren't in a trade at that time. We wouldn't have been watching. But if we would have waited for 10 o'clock to come into that gap, which in my opinion still would have been a little bit of a interesting situation, depending on your stop loss. If you would have had a 50-point stop loss, you would have been good. And I guess a 50 point on a day like this isn't bad, considering you don't want to see price just stagnate. You don't want to see it just not do much. You don't want to have a 100-point stop loss, because if it was going to go all the way that low, in my opinion, you're better off watching for it to come down here. So in this case, I think a 50-point stop loss is thorough. And if you would have been looking for a 1 to 2, you would have been able to get it. If you would have been looking for price to reach for this 3 a.m. high, you would have been able to get it. But in my opinion, I think the 1 to 2 would have been best bet, just because it's the safest bet. Yeah, you could have held it all the way to a possible 1 to 6, but you don't know if it's going to go up there. I'd rather be able to guarantee a little something and then just not have to guess that we might get something. But for the most part, it's a simple trade. Nothing too crazy. The main thing I would say about this day is that it was very choppy. Like this whole area within here was chopping around. You could have got this same entry at 8 in the morning. You could have got this same previous high entry damn near 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, whole bunch of moves like that. Like this would be, I guess, a London trade right here, but in my opinion, this wasn't the ideal trade of the day. Price came down at 3 a.m. into the daily high, which is the same thing as I said, it retraced to the daily gap. It did that. It gave a retracement, but all it did was eventually come right back down. So even though it did have a move on this day, London wasn't the ideal session. I guess on a day like this, you could say London would be more ideal.
Got them on the call. My boy Dyson is just giving some game and everything, but we went over everything when it came to the back testing. This is going to be one of the sessions I think is very beneficial. I told you guys the same shit happens over and over and over and over. I'm going to give you guys specific clips like on specific things that's going to help you a lot when it comes to understanding as above, so below when it comes to lower and higher time frame trading, understanding gaps and all of that shit. What you just watched is going to be very informational, and if it was, comment below, because that's a lot of free game right there. A lot of people, they gonna charge thousands for that shit right there. Trust, like that right there, you can make a whole system. Trust, but I always tell you guys, the system, strategy, that's not the hard part. That's the easy part. So right now I'm about to get this call all structured up and everything. I'm gonna then hop on a call with a student. And people aren't able to do, they wanna be able to have that instant gratification. They want the result fast. They want that something now, but they're not willing to do what's gonna take time. I mean, you've already put in 3 years into the trading. And like I said, even if you were consistent half of those years, that's enough chart time and experience to really understand the market, the systems, that aspect of it. But now you're just in a matter of trying to get out your own way, trying to manage risk, not doing the dumb shit you know you shouldn't be doing already. It's not a matter of not knowing you're supposed to do it. It's a matter of trying to figure out and put systems in place to keep you from taking yourself out the game, which is, once you can get past that hurdle, it's a better position to be in, because it's not like you know what needs to change. It's just a matter of actually doing it, and that's just a day by day.
Always stepping away somehow.
I mean, if you got funded twice, the way you got to look at it, I mean, what you did worked. You were able to pass the account. You were able to win a certain amount of trades. You were able to manage risk. It was just you weren't able to do it long term enough. Because think about it. If you got those accounts but didn't get a payout, that means you just weren't able to get those 5 days. Which 5 days is possible. If you passed 2 accounts, you already won 5 days. You've done it before. Now, like you said, like I said, it's just you take yourself out the game before you get there. But that's when it really just comes down to, like you said, the discipline, the patience, and just putting systems in place to keep you from self-sabotaging yourself.
All areas of my life, and then what areas of my life am I not fully disciplined, and like trying not to beat myself up about this trading journey I've been doing for so long already, and just trying to focus on just myself and not like other people. But like usually, like without me being in this group, it's just me, like solo. Like it's nobody around me like to really speak on these.
Nah, don't even worry. You better. I just sent you 9 different ones. You're probably the.
I've been paying with my time for a long time. I'd rather just kind of put a little bit of bread down and just speed up that process, because I got a lot of stuff I want to do for my life and for my family.
Nah, yeah, time ain't gonna stop for no one. We gonna make it happen, Brody. But for the most part, we gonna have another call tomorrow morning. I don't know the topic that is gonna be on yet. All right, just hopped off that call with the student. Put my slides on. But yeah, good day so far. Let's see what the doggy's doing. Doggy. Doggy. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I ain't gonna lie, it's pretty ugly out. But you know, we're live, so it doesn't really matter. We can enjoy it. Yo, damn, why am I being attacked? Shit, but I'm about to probably shower up and all that, so I'll get back on the camera when I figure out what the next plan of action is, because my girlfriend has work. I don't know if we're gonna go somewhere, but I have calls from 3 to 6. So I kind of want to enjoy my day before then. So we're done with all of our morning stuff. Right now I'm about to go get this car cleaned. I'm gonna get this cleaned up because it's been through a lot the last couple of weeks. Been through hell and back to a lot of places, but I'm gonna get this cleaned up. Just got some food. Food is in the back. Got some fresh kitchen. I need a drink though. So while I'm getting the car cleaned, I'm gonna eat my food and probably go across the street to the gas station and get something to drink, because a whole meal, whole plate of steak with sweet potatoes and rice with no drink is crazy work. I ain't gonna lie. I may be crazy, but I ain't that crazy. These cars. Sometimes these people be going too slow. They gotta let big dog through. But besides that, I do have my one-on-one calls in 2 hours, so yeah, it's gonna be a more educational day. As of right now, this is my kind of free time. So that's why I'm gonna go get the car cleaned. I'm probably gonna be getting content edited and stuff so I can get it all posted so we can keep on building the brand, keep on building the legacy. That's how you do one thing, it's how you do everything. But besides that, it's ugly as shit today too. So you know what, I'm just glad it was nice the last couple of days when I was out, because came back to Tampa and the weather is ass. Weather is ass, but neither here nor there. I'm about to go get this clean and I'll probably see you when I get back to the crib, but I don't know what I might record. Because like I said, I'm gonna be kinda walking around. Instead of me eating while I wait for the car, I decided I'm gonna just eat this first while I'm in the car, because I went to the gas station and I got something to drink, and I'm gonna just eat it in the car because I'm gonna wash the car over there. So instead of doing all that, I'm gonna just eat it in the comfort of this, because I think it's about to rain. So yeah, fuck all that. This is chicken cool. Before I get copyrighted. Yeah. Just posted a story, just got done the gym. Great workout. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And I drank coffee. I got a lot of energy right now. But we about to hop on these one-on-one calls. I'm about to get some of them done early. I miss drinking coffee. This shit is like crack. Then again, I do put a lot of creamer and a lot of sugar. Hey, it does the job. I was tired, now I'm awake. That's all I was really trying to go for. Probably gonna crash out later off the sugar. But you know what? We'll deal with that later, aren't we? We'll deal with that later. But I hop on and call my boy B. Let's get to work. If you want to work with me one-on-one to get access to these calls, you know, first link in the description, you know what to do.
My bad. Hold on, fam. Hold on.
Hey.
I was playing COD with my
Now,
girl.
yeah, hop on.
I'm good. It was good, man. I had one losing day this week. Lost like 500, but now I'm back up another 500. I'm up like 1,300 for the week.
How many days you trade?
How many days?
Yeah, how many days? I mean, how many trades and days, if you know off the top of your head?
I traded for all 5 days. Woke up at 2 o'clock, got on the chart. Yep, all. I mean, I didn't have. When the day that you were going to the Airbnb, I traded. I tried to trade with y'all at 10 a.m. and that's where I lost that $500.
Damn. So the only day you lost was New York?
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I don't want to say just stick to it, but just stick to it, because the days that you did win, I mean, were you taking the same types of trades?
Yeah.
Like London and New York, it was just the same type of trades? I mean, you know what to look for then, so it's not a matter of you can't find it, because if you took the same type of trades, it was just out of the session. Like if you were there this morning and I went over the same thing, those trades that happened during London that will happen during New York, it's just understanding why it's happening so that you can actually take advantage of it during your session. The only thing is sometimes London don't even have a trade. You should have took Wednesday off. You should have that Wednesday would have been your day off. I was about to say, because Monday, Tuesday, if you would have won Tuesday I went to the Airbnb, right?
No, you went Wednesday.
Oh, nah, I was there Wednesday. I went Tuesday night.
Okay, yeah.
So I was there Wednesday, but that's what I'm saying. Monday, Tuesday, we won then. You wouldn't have to trade Wednesday. If you would have took off, you wouldn't even had an L then. Since you're going through the whole journey of like getting funded, especially since your cousin got to pay out and everything, the best thing you could do, especially going into changing everything, is changing the daily habits. Like start doing things that you don't already do. If you don't work out, start doing that. If you don't have any other hobbies, start looking at other things. Just being able to build yourself into the best version of yourself, because you don't want to become a good trader and then have to figure out everything else after. Then try to get into the gym. Then try to build these good habits. Then try to, you get what I'm saying? Because you want to start everything now. So that 5, 6, 7 months from now, you're building in all these different areas, because in trading is you versus you. If you build yourself in the gym, you're going to be helping your trading. If you build yourself as a person, you're going to be helping your trading. It's not like just focusing on the charts is only going to benefit you in the charts. It's only going to benefit you in the charts. It's not going to benefit nothing else besides you on the charts from being on the charts. You get what I'm saying? But if you focus on building yourself, traits, patience, discipline, that's going to go for everything. Being in a relationship, traffic, what else? Being in a game, you might be loading long as shit into Warzone or some shit. If you don't got the patience, you're going to be there, yo. But if you got some patience, you're just going to be able to chill. It just goes with everything. Just how you do one thing is how you do everything. And those same things that you build yourself on a daily basis is going to lead into trading. But just people only focus on the charts. First call is done, as you guys seen. About to hop on the second call. So yeah, that's the vibes. Let's keep it flowing. Let's keep it going. The coffee is still flowing in my body, so I still got the energy. So let's keep this shit.
Bro, recently, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I just been really breaking even. Like, for the past weeks, I know that I've just been breaking even. Like, I even thought about maybe, like, taking a step back and just, like, getting off the top step accounts. Because, like, I've been blowing them. So, like, there's no reason to, like, you know, keep wasting money, bread, when I could just hop back on the demos and just, like, take a step back and do it a little bit longer.
What do you think the reason behind the break-evens are? Like, price coming back?
I think I'll take too much trades, bro. Like I'll make my profit, and then the next day, like, all right, like, I'll be like, all right, you know, I'm about to get my 2-day streak. So I get, like, more, like, I guess I get more nervous. I'm like, damn, and I start tending to do stupid shit, you know, like, I'm like, I just rush a trade, then from there, like, I'll take off.
Yeah, the mental game's always going to be the hardest part. Like the system, the strategies, that's why I always tell people that's going to be, it's very learnable. But even like you said, the system strategy works, because even on that trade, if we didn't break even when we did and broke even 10 minutes later, it would have been a W trade. So it's really perspective a lot of time. And the system has nothing to do with the risk management, because that same trade, if we didn't break even when it came back down, could have kept going straight to stop loss. So at the same time, it's like by us being able to manage risk, by us trying to make sure that we don't lose money though, it kind of kept us from making money. But it's just, you can't only get the good. It's like you get the good with the bad, you get the bad with the good. By breaking even, sometimes it's worth it because you're not going to lose money. Sometimes it's going to be sick because it might just break you even immediately and just fly up, just like Friday, where it literally stopped us out a couple seconds after breaking even and just kept going.
That should be getting me tight like fuck.
Dude, I'm basically saying that you can go on a month winning streak, but as soon as you go on a week losing streak, it just feels like the end of the world, because losses, they weigh a lot more than the wins. It's easy to walk away from a win, but when you take a loss, it's a lot harder. So that's why it's always good to be able to remember and be able to see the trades that won. Be able to see the same exact trade that you took today that didn't play out, but it played out before, so that you know it's not necessarily the market, it's just probabilities. If I flip a coin 5 times and I get heads 5 times, it doesn't mean tails doesn't work. It was just the probabilities weren't on my side. And I could do the same exact thing and get heads 5 times in a row or get tails 5 times in a row. It's just one time I might get fucking half and half. It's just probabilities. You never really know. It's not that one thing is right or wrong. It's just probabilities and being able to manage the risk. Because like I said, the system is one thing. But a lot of time we're getting L and W and break-even trades due to things that we do. In general, is that it'll teach you a lot of traits. It'll teach you a lot of things that you're never going to have to learn by yourself. 100%. Like job's not going to teach you patience. No one's going to tell you not to do anything. But when you have to build yourself into the best version of yourself to be the best trader you can, that just usually flows into your whole entire life. Like when I went to the event, a lot of people do the same thing. A lot of them fitness, a lot of them do content, a lot of them just doing a lot of the same things because it's just how you do one thing is how you do everything. Versus the people that likely aren't at that level, they're not doing one thing how they do everything. They're doing trading, they're doing good trading, but they're slacking everywhere else. But it's just you got to realize whatever you're spending majority of your time doing is what you're going to be. So if you spend a little bit of time trading, then the rest of your day is cooked. You might be doing good for a little bit, but it's only a matter of time before it just flows back over into your trading. All it takes is one bad day, that one domino to fuck everything up. And I'm sure you've already, from the little experience you have, you already know how that works. We're done with 2. I need some water though. I'm doing a whole lot of talking. Coffee was cool, but now I still have this Saratoga, but this is sparkling and this is not going to do the job.
2 or 3 videos left of the blueprint.
Okay.
You know, so I'm gonna finish this weekend before I go. And then I'm going to start watching the recorded meetings, the recorded.
Yeah, those are going to be good. So how do you think you are so far with the concept? Because a lot of it, like, right now is just introducing. It's not going to go too deep into it, like I said, but it's, like, basically introducing you to everything. Like, how's it going so far, like, in terms of understanding?
So, like, I tune in when you do your live trading, right? And basically, I understand the language. I understand what's going on. The only thing I'm having a hard time is your entry points. You know what I'm saying? That I have to study more, but the fair value gaps, the false breaks, so I'm learning the trend, everything that's on the blueprint.
I would say the main thing that will help with like the entry, I would say
Seen on previous videos.
the stack, not sure what happened with the last call I was supposed to do. I called him, he didn't answer. So you know what? It's looking like it is what it is. I'm about to hop over here. I'm about to start editing the vlog that you are watching right now. And I'm probably just gonna chill on my computer for a little bit. This is the first time I kind of get to relax for the day. Got myself some water. And yeah, I'm gonna chill out. Try not to break my desk. I'll just vibe out. You feel me? All right, now it is approximately about 8 something at night. We got done most of the one-on-one calls. I'm not sure what happened with my other student. He's missing in action right now, but it be like that. I'm not gonna force anybody to work, but I'm sure he's just busy right now. We'll figure it out when it comes to tomorrow. But I'm not sure if I'm in the video yet. I'm not sure how long the video is, but all I know is it's been a pretty informative day. It's been a pretty informational day. It's been a pretty fun day. It's been a workative day, and it's been a normal day. So with that being said, I probably am gonna end the video because I just gotta get food, and then besides that, there's nothing really else for me to record. And it's a Saturday night. I've already done more than most, so I'm just gonna get food. I still gotta edit this video, still gotta do all that. So I love you guys. If you wanna work with me one-on-one, I got 6 spots available. Got first link in the description. Second link is gonna be the free trading training. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay busy, stay productive. I'm gonna see you guys in tomorrow's daily video.